has brought Gail Catlett's Mountaineers to the verge of the top 10. 4 starters score in double figures, led by senior Darryl Prue and the acrobatics of sophomore Chris Brooks. John Chaney's Temple Owls struggled early in the season. As always, Mark Macon has been a sensation, and the Owls are second in the Atlantic 10 thanks in large part to the improvement of center Dwayne Coswell. McGonigal Hall on the campus of Temple University has become one of the nation's best home courts in college basketball, and tonight Temple hopes to use this as a springboard back to the NCAAs as they host the 11th-ranked Mountaineers of West Virginia. Hi everybody, I'm Ted Robinson. Welcome to USA's Sunday Night College Basketball. This is a great rivalry. We thought the Atlantic 10 regular championship would be on the line tonight. Not so, because West Virginia has been too good, but still a big game in the East. It's not the Big East, but to these teams, it's as big a game as they'll play this year. Why? Well, let's take a look at how things have changed in the last year. Last year, at this time in the Atlantic 10, everything was Temple, #1 in the country, unbeaten going to the tournament. West Virginia was heading to the NIT. But this year, it's the Mountaineers who are unbeaten. They haven't gotten the respect yet Temple had last year, but they've already clinched the regular season championship. And it's nice to be back alongside Bucky Waters. Coach, as we look at West Virginia, why are they a better team this year? Everybody says it's their backcourt.
And it has indeed, and they're the same guards. Berger and Brooks are back, 2 fine West Virginians. They were the lament of the Mountaineer fans last year. They just didn't play up to the front court. This year, they're for real. Berger, with a 3-to-1 assist-turnover ratio, has been an outstanding point guard, and Herbie Brooks has finally found his niche as a 2-guard. Last year, the knock was perimeter shooting and free throws. The free throw, that problem's still there, but the guard play is solid. This is a balanced West Virginia team.
Yeah, balance is not the word you would use for Temple, and I guess as we assess their season at this point, Bucky, the question is, has Mark Macon had to do too much?
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of tough teams on the road, but this guy, the freshman of the year last year, and I thought Chaney's remark was great. He said, I let some people ride in my car. I let this guy drive my car. He's a great talent. He's trying to do a lot of things, and he needs help. Coswell, Breezewick, they all have to have big nights. If they do in here, it can turn them around. They're still potentially a tournament team.
Well, West Virginia's won 22 in a row. Temple has won 24 straight here. And with just 15 wins overall, Temple needs a win tonight to help their NCAA chances. Tonight's game is being brought to you by... we're back in the city of the Big Five, the Palestra. Great basketball tradition, and what a great home court this is. McGonigal Hall, and now to meet the starting lineups, let's go to public address announcer John McAdams.
Atlantic 10 conference game featuring the West Virginia University Mountaineers and the Temple University Owls. Let's meet the starting lineups. First for West Virginia. At a forward position, a sophomore, 6 feet, 6 inches tall, from the Bronx, New York, number 23, Chris Brooks. At the other forward is senior, 6 feet, 7 inches tall, from Washington, D.C., number 24, Darryl Prue. At the center spot, a senior, 6 feet, 10 inches tall, from Cleveland, Ohio, number 42, Ray Foster. At the guards, a senior, 5 feet, 11 inches tall, from Boomer, West Virginia, number 4, Steve Berger. At the other guard, a senior, 6 feet, 2 inches tall, from Mullins, West Virginia, number 32, Herbie Brooks. The head coach of the West Virginia Mountaineers in his 11th season is Gail Catlett. And for the Temple University Owls, at a forward position, a senior, 6 feet, 7 inches tall, from Morrisville, Pennsylvania, number 32, Mik Kilgore. At the other forward, a sophomore, 6 feet, 6 inches tall, from Philadelphia, number 10, Ernest Pollard. At the center spot, a sophomore, 6 feet, 11 inches tall, from Queens Village, New York, number 31, Dwayne Coswell. At the guards, a freshman 6 feet 7 inches tall from Philadelphia, number 15, Mik Kilgore. At the other guard, a sophomore 6 feet 5 inches tall from Saginaw, Michigan, number 12, Mark Macon. The head coach of the Temple University Owls in his 7th season is John Cheney. The officials for this evening's game when the ball is taken up.
And John Cheney already has the collar undone, the tie pulled down, and he's ready to go. And so, back at McGonigal Hall in Philadelphia, West Virginia and Temple getting set. West Virginia with the longest winning streak in the country, but most impressively, they are undefeated on the road this year, while Temple has been a dominant force here at McGonigal Hall. Only that loss to West Virginia in the last 58 games, but their schedule, Bucky, has really hurt them this year. 7 losses against top 20 teams.
That on top of the fact that they have 3 new starters, with just a little too much to overcome.
And there's an all-star crew of officials. John Clockerty, Mickey Crowley, Dick Paparo. Strong crew. We're set to go. Temple in white, West Virginia in the dark blue. The white towels a wave in the crowd. And this place is loud, and it can be intimidating for a visiting team. But West Virginia has stood strong this year, and they win the tap and go right in with Chris Brooks on the feed from Darryl Prue.
How do you like to start the game with an exclamation point? Well, I think the crowd just got whiplash collectively.
All right, now Temple, you know this is the way they're going to want to play it. Patience, run the clock down. They don't want to get up tempo with West Virginia.
Well, we need to watch. People accuse Temple of holding the ball. Actually, they take a quick shot. They don't overpass.
And Macon with Herbie Brooks right in his face drills it to tie the game. And coming back is Herbie Brooks. The long rebound, though, to Chris Brooks. And Prue with a miss. And finally, Coswell pulls it down. But that's going to be a key for Temple. They can't leave Coswell alone on the defensive board.
West Virginia with those bookend forwards, 2 power forwards. The Mountaineers really don't have a small finesse forward. They're depending on their guards for the quickness on the perimeter. Everybody in that front court needs to be snuggled in.
And there's a good sign for Temple, a team that has had a terrible shooting year, all of them. And Mik Kilgore hits a 3.
The Owls extending their defense here at home.
But they go backdoor to Herbie Brooks, and that's a goaltend on Ernest Pollard. Score it for Herbie Brooks.
Oh, it didn't surprise West Virginia. Beautiful execution that time against the press. Hit the high post, backdoor press coming from the weak side. Ernest Pollard too little, too late. Good call. The ball was coming down off the window.
Now in the game for Temple, 21, Sean Randolph. He replaces Ernest Pollard. Macon being tracked now by Berger, goes right by him on a drive, and the ball goes out of bounds and will come back into Temple.
Berger, number 4, is only 5'11", and he's drawn the assignment to cover Mark Macon, who is a very healthy 6'5". We may see Macon posting up. You made an excellent point before the game, Ted, that Macon shoots only 4 free throws a game despite his great athletic ability.
Coswell getting his own rebound, but he put the ball down, and the little man, Steve Berger, stripped it.
The 7-footer brought it down for the little guy to play with, and he ate it.
Macon with the rebound, 5-4 Temple. We played just over 2 minutes, and I'll tell you, West Virginia's not wasting any time putting it up.
No, they need to take a little more time against that defense.
So 3 by Frieswick. And there's Macon for the rebound.
There's that pass. Just the way they put it on the blackboard. Heck of a pass. That's the same pass Valvano used to win the national championship. The air ball catches him by surprise every time.
And the travel turns the ball back to Temple. What you saw in that shot by Frieswick, though, the book on him is he's not really a good shooter unless he's standing still. And he's kind of moving on that shot.
Well, the quickness for the Mountaineers will make him put the ball on the floor. They'll come at you.
There's a standstill shot, and Kilgore drills his second 3.
McGonigal Hall is just what these Owls needed. They were handled pretty good by Rutgers the other night. And coming home here after playing all those tough teams on the road.
And now the 10-second count. 10-second violation. Turnover again to Temple.
The Owls don't usually extend their defense unless they have to. But they're all the way down, three-quarter pressure. One time the Mountaineers attacked it beautifully. Boy, that's a quick 10.
I think that's what Berger thought as well. It's 10-4 Temple. We played 3 minutes. Gail Catlett's team has lost twice this year. Robert Morris and Bradley, both losses in Morgantown. Oswell doubled, gets rid of it to Kilgore. Frieswick with the left hand, got the shot stuffed, and then Coswell knocks it out on the rebound. It will be West Virginia ball.
Well, they've even got Frieswick going for the basket. He's responded to the challenge. This is something he has not done well. The West Virginia defense a little late coming over, and I thought he got hammered.
I'll tell you what, good sign here for West Virginia, though, because you've had a drive by Mik and a drive by Frieswick and no whistles. So they may feel like they can do a little bit of hammering in there. Now a travel on Steve Berger. Third turnover in a row by West Virginia.
Well, so far it doesn't look like it, but the guard play really has improved for the Mountaineers. Same two guards last year. Catlett called them in and said, I'm unhappy with our guard play.
Macon and Coswell and a foul.
No blue jerseys on the board that time. Coswell with an impressive stick back. This time he didn't bring it down. Oh, that's a shame. West Virginia, Darryl Prue, not a good foul at all. Just kind of reaches over. Watch 24. Just kind of reaches out there, sends it to the line. Coswell converts the three.
And it's 13-4 Temple. And you know this is the one thing Gail Catlett didn't want, another turnover. He doesn't want the turnovers, nor does he want to see Temple open it up early. And Kilgore hits his third three. Temple has scored 12 points in a row.
Except for Coswell's dunk and free throw, all the points are from the backcourt for Temple.
And now Ray Foster going into the basket. Does not get the jam, but picks up the foul on Coswell.
Well, this is an exact reversal from the first game in Morgantown. It was a two-point game, but it really wasn't that close. The Mountaineers pretty well dominated the game, but they got the big start, and the Owls had to fight back all night long. Tonight, it's Temple out of the blocks. Very impressive.
And some people may wonder why Gail Catlett didn't take a timeout. Well, because he's going to get a television timeout here momentarily. He doesn't want to waste one of his own. And he'll get it here as Foster makes both foul shots. So it's a quick start for Temple as they lead 16-6. But they come out shooting well, and Kilgore's at 3 threes.
Temple with one turnover, and West Virginia was unable to convert that into anything.
Kilgore missing, and the loose ball picked up by Berger. And the Mountaineers push the tempo up. Chris Brooks. Oh! Inside, a foul. The one thing Temple wants to avoid as Macon commits the foul, of course, they want to avoid Coswell getting into foul trouble because they have no other big man. Only 9 uniformed players for Temple.
Yet another turnover. So far, the Mountaineers have been shooting quickly, really haven't tried to go down in there and create an inside game or take a couple of shots at Coswell.
Frieswick missing the three. Look at Macon battling inside, and he keeps the rebound alive. Nice dish. Coswell draws the foul, and there's the side of Macon that I'm sure John Chaney likes to see penetrate a little bit to create.
Well, he can do it. He's got great leaping ability. He's controlling the ball. Watch his first step. I mean, that's an explosion. He's right into the broken line, under control. Coswell doesn't put the ball on the floor, sticks it right up the nose of the Mountaineers.
Foul was on Chris Brooks, his first second team. Billy Cunningham, who owns part of the Miami Heat, said he has not seen a player in college basketball this year improve as much in the course of a year as Dwayne Coswell.
Drawing an analogy back to Bill Russell's career. You know, Bill Russell was cut from his high school team, one of those late bloomers, and I think we may see a similar kind of a transition there for Coswell. Not like a Chamberlain, who was a star in the 9th grade, but a guy who keeps getting better and reaches his potential a lot later in his career.
And Coswell flashing in the lane for the steal. Breezewick. That's a 2.
Boy, that's all of it. The Temple Owls hitting on all cylinders. West Virginia's got to get a hold of that ball. The guard's got to settle it down a little bit.
Well, they're just throwing it away. And Temple is feeding on this. 7 turnovers already by West Virginia.
Well, your pressure defense is a lot better in this snug little arena, I'll tell you that. This is togetherness.
And the few bounces the right way for Temple there. The long rebound right to Coswell.
They haven't had many this year. Some heartbreakers on the road. Notre Dame, double overtime to Missouri. Also out at Vegas the other day. They haven't had many breaks. They could get well here and be real tough coming down the stretch.
Mik Kilgore with 11 points already. And it's 21-6.
Keep in mind now, this is not a deep Temple team. West Virginia's quite deep.
And chasing Chris Brooks is the foul on Sean Randolph.
While this is an impressive flurry, this could take a lot of gas out of the Owls. They're not used to playing at this tempo. I think that man wants to ride out the streak, though. He's going to stay right after him until it begins to turn the other way. A surprising start.
16-2 run for Temple, and now Chris Brooks at the line, but this is the Mountaineer Achilles heel. Brooks just 41%, Crew just 44%, and Foster just 53% from the line. And they don't even look good.
It's hard to believe this team has won on the road as it has, shooting 56% from the foul line. It just, to me, that's a complete enigma.
It's amazing as the travel was called on Foster. Now here's Chris Brooks' book, Buck. He shoots 63% from the floor. He doesn't even have a chance from the foul line. (21-6) Temple. Aiken. He has 6. And it's an 18-2 run.
Aiken, that time, looked a little tired in the middle. Chaney's got to look at that press. After that bucket, Macon went to the midcourt line and just punched his ticket. Little Matador defense. Berger under control, challenges the big guys.
Goaltending gives Berger the hoop, and it's 23-8. Breezewick. And Ray Foster with the rebound.
See, that's the thing people don't understand about Temple. They don't take a lot of time for the shot. Where the score gets low when Temple's involved is people take a long time to get a good shot against their defense, usually. West Virginia, of course, real quick firing. They've been very trigger happy tonight.
Herbie Brooks with a 3, and it's 23-11. You say they don't take a lot of time to shoot, but in no way would you call them an up-tempo team, would you?
No. They just don't overpass. They get a good shot, they take it. That's one of the reasons they've led the nation in fewest turnovers over the last 4 years. They don't overpass. They take the first good shot.
Kilgore. And it's tipped out to Macon, and Temple's doing a good job. They're hanging in against a bigger team on the boards.
Well, with Kilgore at the point at 6'7", he's able to find passing lanes, and he's hitting.
13 for Kilgore.
What's happening with no pressure on the point man out there? He's able to look over the defense with his size, and he's just picking them apart down underneath.
Here's Brooks, Herbie Brooks to Berger. And the long rebound, Breezewick. We play just over 8 minutes. Temple leads 25-11.
Very fast-paced game. Temple on a 100-point streak. That can't continue, not with their depth. Not in my opinion. They rest on offense.
And they're really running this two-man game nicely, getting Kilgore open shots.
Del Cruz just trying to hang in the lane there, try to cut off the inside game. challenging Temple to hit the outside shot, and they've hit it.
And that's how West Virginia played Temple the first time. They didn't play Harden or Kilgore, whoever was at the point, and those men did not hit shots in that game.
Harden is seeing less playing time. He has not had the good year. We'll see him later, but his minutes have been greatly reduced.
Brooks on the drive.
That's a tired Temple team right now. That penetration was a piece of cake, and normally it's very difficult to get inside that matchup.
Brooks with 7 down. It's 25-13. Frieswick.
Nobody on that offensive board for Temple.
And all the shots now are coming from the perimeter for Temple.
Yeah, that initial flurry was fine, but it did seem to sap the Temple Owls quite a bit.
Berger. Steve Berger. That's a little man. They list him at just 5'11". Getting a jumper on the run. He got up off the ground.
Oh, he's really improved. A 3-to-1 assist turnover ratio. He's a lead guard that's scoring as well.
Macon. Frieswick staying down low, trying to flash out off the baseline. Berger is following Macon.
Darryl Prue, number 24, now a little bit closer to Kilgore on top. But unless he pressures that ball, Temple will just take their time, find a good shot.
Frieswick with 5 to shoot, and they throw it away on the baseline, trying to save it in desperation. And the Mountaineers come back, only the second Temple turnover. Now the Mountaineers can cut it to 8 here. This doesn't sound so bad after the way they started.
Well, after that frenzy, even this crowd has settled down.
But when these teams played in Morgantown, West Virginia led by 18 in the first half, and it wound up being a 2-point game. Temple came back. Now we have a foul inside on Ray Foster. That's his first and the third team. And gets us to a timeout. Gail Catlett, his team unbeaten on the road this year. They're down 10 early.
And they have lit that place up a few nights. Great tradition there. They love their hoops.
Gail Catlett with 11 years now, and that's a stat that's astonishing. This is the one that's most astonishing, to believe that Temple would have 10 second chance points.
Yeah, when you look at that front court of Brooks and Prue, the 2 power forwards, it is really hard to believe.
9 minutes to go, first half. Temple leading by 10. Their last half dozen possessions, they have run the shot clock down.
Tracy Shelton, the freshman, is in the game now, number 3, and looks like Frieswick's trying to post him up underneath.
Macon missing, and there's Frieswick rebounding over Shelton.
Took advantage of it. He was hanging on the block, either the post up or come in on the weak side of the board. Gail Catlett very high on Tracy Shelton. He's one of the reasons that the guard play is so much better this year for the Mountaineers. Just simply competition. Guy can play both 1 and 2 spots, and he's made the starting guards really pick up the pace.
Wade Smith, 33, is in the game as well. He's replaced Prue, and inside Chris Brooks is fouled.
Mountaineers taking a little more time now, trying to find those bookend forwards down inside. With Chris Brooks and Darryl Prue, you've got to get it to them 10, 12 feet from the basket for them to be effective. Incredibly, those two shoot more free throws than anybody else on the team, and they're the worst free throw shooters.
And this is Shelton, who is a good outside shooter. He drills his first one. Shelton scoring over 6 points a game playing as a freshman. And it's a 9-point Temple lead.
They switch back now. Shelton's now playing Macon.
Frieswick missed the turnaround. West Virginia got pretty close to the rim there. And back from the Mountaineers, Herbie Brooks.
I look for Temple to come extend their defense again. They got that little explosion. They got tired, and Chaney's pulled them back. But it did appear that extended defense in this snug little gym was effective.
Wade Smith hits the little jumper from about 10 feet.
Well, there's that two-handed center for West Virginia. They have Foster, who's tough inside, and then they come with Smith, who's a perimeter player. completely changes their look offensively.
And now it's within 7. With 7 minutes to play in the half, it's a 14-4 run for the Mountaineers. Randolph hitting on the baseline. First basket for Sean Randolph.
Mik Kilgore.
1-2-2 matchup, as always. John Chaney's got an awful lot of mileage out of this defense. And there's a lot more to it than it appears.
And there's another turnover created by Coswell again. But West Virginia had this problem the first game too, Bucky. They could not get the ball to Chris Brooks inside against him.
It's tough against that matchup. They've got the right hand in the passing lane. They've got you predicted. They know what the percentages are. Look for Vreeswijk again to capitalize on Shelton on the weak side.
Amazing how much of this game of the ball has been in Kilgore's hands, and it has not been in Macon's hands very much.
Well, there's Smith, the center, out there playing Kilgore. That's no pressure at all on the point.
Chris Brooks the rebound. On the run, Herbie Brooks lets it fly. Oh, just like he planned. Does that all the time.
A senior from Mullins, West Virginia. He's a 2-guard, 62 assists, only 40 turnovers. He's not the ball handler. He was a high school center. Has really developed his second guard skills.
Well, he's become a much better shooter. He's hit 4 in a row, 9 points.
This is a balanced Mountaineer team. Going to win on the road like they have. You've got to have a lot of guns. Again, though, when you shoot 56%, you've got to have a lot of other strengths.
Kilgore, 3. Mik Kilgore, he has scored 16 points. That equals his career high, and he's done it in the first 15 minutes of the game.
Gail Catlett's looking over at his assistants and saying, who scouted these guys? Who told me he couldn't shoot? It's a battle of wills. They're just going to keep making him stick it, and he's still sticking it.
That scout's going to be recruiting Siberia next year, right?
Butch Haswell was walking the Mountaineers through the information today on Temple, but when you've got to contend with Coswell and Macon and Vreeswijk, Kilgore is a pretty good risk. Smith coming out now a little bit further.
And Macon just staying down low and letting others do it. Vreeswijk got it.
That's a touch. A right-handed Chris Mullins. He doesn't need to dribble like a lot of jump shooters. Quick trigger. And when he's hot, there's almost nothing you can do to stop him.
And that 3 is so devastating. Here's Herbie Brooks. Back-to-back 3-pointers by Temple. The lead is quickly up to 13, and they have the ball.
Temple really packs in on that defensive board. They almost never run off a missed shot. You've got to turn it over.
Foul away from the ball called by Dick Paparo, and I believe he has Sean Randolph on it. But we'll have a timeout in the interim. 3:54 to play in the first half, and Temple's got the lead back to 13.
Player of the year in the public league. Can't get any respect. He's all alone out there, and he's making the Mountaineers pay. He's 4 for 5 from the 3-point lane, and he's got 16 points. And with that size and nobody playing him, he also has 3 assists, finding the open Owls down lurking on the baseline. Looking for a defensive adjustment from Gail Catlett. He's either got to believe that guy's going to cool off, or he's got to come get him.
He is 3 points shy of his career high. He had 19 in a game against Duquesne last week, averaging just 7 points a game in his freshman year, and with 16 already. Now the Mountaineers, I'm sure, out of the timeout with Darryl Prue back in the game along with Ray Foster. Try to stabilize, make a little run to go in the locker room within single digits.
Well, they've got 2 centers in the game right now. A lot of size on the floor for the Mountaineers. Smith a little uncomfortable out there. Had it taken from him.
11th turnover by West Virginia.
Boy, Coswell wants it, Ted. They're putting a little more pressure on Kilgore. And a defensive switch. Darryl Prue with the great hands. A guy that's capable of stealing that ball from a point guard. Boy, that was a dangerous save. He just threw that ball back.
And John Chaney, who detests turnovers so much, was just screaming at Kilgore. His team's up by 13, but that's only his 3rd turnover of the game, and he's going nuts.
Well, there are 2 things you can't do for John, and that's go baseline against his team and then turn the ball over. He doesn't get mad, he gets even.
Temple averaging just 9 turnovers a game this year, forcing 16, and left alone is Darrell Prue, and those are his first points.
A little conversation there between Macon and Breeswick. Not terribly positive, just a missed assignment. Well, you don't often get that pass from the top of the key against their defense.
You just can't get over, Bucky. In this first half, the ball has been in Kilgore's hands virtually the entire time, and Macon is not touching it much.
Roswell's getting, obviously been disappointed, thinks he's open and not getting it.
Oswell forced that shot. Kind of an awkward turn, but he drew the foul from Ray Foster.
Very seldom will Coswell put the ball back outside. Most of the time when the ball goes down there, people will double down, triple down. He doesn't attempt to dribble or pass. Good strong move. Nice dump off by Macon. Watch his shuffle. Whoa, yeah, a little cha-cha-cha. Undetected, and he goes to the line.
Coswell, 5 points, 5 rebounds. 3rd in the nation in block shots.
Gail Catlett turning his people over. No question, the Mountaineer bench is much deeper, and this game still has a 20-minute second half, 2 more in the first half. He's trying to keep his people fresh.
Dancing and missing. And the rebound to Prue. So it is Temple 36, West Virginia 24. We approach the 2-minute mark in the first half. Small backcourt now for the Mountaineers with Shelton and Berger. Both barely scraping the 6-foot mark on good days.
That's Smith in for Foster. Just one center on the floor now for the Mountaineers.
Long 3 missing and Macon rebounding. This is where I'm surprised that Temple has done so well on the boards in this first half. Macon screening for Breeswick. How about that? Take one of the best players in the nation, he's screening down.
Well, what they're getting to is a mismatch because they're both being played by guards. So when the pin down works, you've got a mismatch inside if they manage to fight over the screen.
Well, West Virginia had it down to 7. Now it's back up to 15. Wade Smith missing. Chris Brooks follows and a foul.
Boy, those forwards are tough for the Mountaineers. Wide bodies.
Ernest Pollard, who came back in for the Owls, fouling. That's his first 6 fouls on Temple. We've had a quick-paced half. Neither team has been in the bonus. We have 1 minute and 9 remaining.
That's good for West Virginia.
Well, that was a good-looking foul shot. The first 2 he threw up there earlier in the game didn't have a prayer.
Chris Brooks shooting only 40% from the foul line, and the fact that Temple doesn't foul much due to their matchup style of play. Also, the fact that there's just 9 guys on the team, that's the West Virginia's advantage. The worst place they can be is on the foul line.
Mark Macon getting instructions from John Chaney as we enter the last minute. Temple will have to shoot 25 on the shot clock.
John Chaney very happy to go down with a 14-point lead.
Kilgore came close to a 5-second count there. Shot clock at 12. At 8. 5. And Kilgore missing it, but they get another chance. And this time they'll pull it out and run the game clock down. Oh, the rebounding has been so big for Temple.
Boy, Kilgore very impressive as a freshman out there, handling the ball at 6'7", good perimeter skills.
Oh, good hands by Darrell Prue. He has Shelton. Oh, there's a big swing for West Virginia, giving them a little glimmer of hope as they go inside. Kilgore playing it all the way down to the end, and Darrell Cruz stripped him. Shelton with the slam. We're at halftime in Philadelphia. The nation's longest winning streak, though, is very much in jeopardy. It's 10. Taught us why we play these games and why you and I don't just sit down before the game and decide them. Everything went against form in that first half.
Well, West Virginia started off the game with a slam dunk off the opening tip, but from there on it was a surprising press by John Chaney's Temple Owls. I think it caught the Mountaineers by surprise, and they were able to get a great many turnovers, plus their outside shooting, and Gail Catlett was shooting 50% on the road from three-point land and from the regular, and he's still down 12 at the half. That's a very unusual situation.
Strong West Virginia front court was not a factor in the supposedly weak Temple backcourt, at least from shooting. They were a factor. How do you figure it?
Well, it's the distance from which they were shooting caused long rebounds, but I thought Temple just changed things around with that extended pressure. It just froze the Mountaineers. They were able to get transition points, and I thought that the West Virginia guards then got a little trigger happy. They forgot about their forwards inside, and Causwell was able to dominate the lane.
All right, well, let's take a look at how it stacked up numerically in the first half. We take a look at tonight's halftime stats and highlights, brought to you by the companies of the Prudential. Come to the Prudential and build your future on the rock.
So they're the Mountaineers, who haven't lost on the road, looking good statistically, 52% from the floor, 2 for 4 from three-point, but look at those turnovers, and they were able to generate 17 points from those 11 Mountaineer turnovers. Second chance points again, Temple on that offensive board, and they are not really known as an offensive rebounding team. They're very concerned about their defensive balance.
Take a look at the highlights now. We start with one of those turnovers converted into points for Temple.
Well, Causwell with his great quickness inside. Everybody knows he's a rejecter. Came out of there with one dribble, quickly gave it up, and Threeswick pulls up, and I know he wishes he had that one over because he could have pulled up outside the three-point line, but he snuck inside. Mik Kilgore, the 6'7" freshman out front, was really a thorn in the side of the Mountaineers. They elected to lay off of him, protect inside, and he burned them. 16 points, 4 out of 5 from the three-point.
Would you suspect Gail Catlett told his team to do anything differently?
I think they'll probably test Kilgore again, and if he hits 2, I think they'll come and chase. I think that Gail Catlett is an excellent man-for-man. They sort of gimmicked in the first half, trying to take advantage of what they thought was a weak shooting perimeter to concentrate on Breezewick and Macon. I think if they start out the same way, I think they'll play them honest, tough, come at them with a sick of man-for-man.
And you talked about Temple's lack of depth. 3 of their starting 5 played all 20 minutes in the first half. We'll have to see if they can maintain that pace. Tell Temple needs a win badly to keep their NCAA hopes alive, and they lead by 12 at the half. Only 3, Foster 2, and Prue 2.
Well, you're looking at Chris Brooks and Darrell Prue, who combined for an average of 26 points a game, have only 5 at the half, and therein lies the story.
Now here's a Temple team. Mark Macon averaging 18.5 a game. Been the offense much of the year, only 6 points in the first half. They didn't need Macon because the others were doing damage.
Well, he was drawing the crowd and making the good plays. He only had 1 assist, but he creates so much just by his presence because obviously the other team's defense is key to it.
Well, John Chaney early in the year said the key for his team will be if Mark Macon gets his points within our offense rather than him being our offense. And tonight it's certainly been the case. He's been within the offense.
Macon starts off at the point, but after a couple of rotations, he gives it up and goes down, and this has been what has killed the Mountaineers. Kilgore at the point.
Darrell Prue playing him, and he's not giving him the freebie from the top like he had early and like he had in the first game these teams played.
The Mountaineers are coming straight man for man, sick-em defense.
Causwell, and he got bodied by Ray Foster.
Causwell is going to bring the ball to the middle. He likes that post on the left side, and he comes to the middle, and he's not going to pass it out. But by coming to the middle, he keeps himself on the offensive board. He only had 1 reject in the first half, but he had 3 steals, and all of them helped generate that Temple fast break.
Is that what they call the black hole offense? Pass it in there, and it never comes out.
Like throwing it in the ocean. Gonzo. They don't ask him to do a lot. Block shots, and when we throw it to you, take it to the hole.
Causwell was the only Owl to be at the foul line in the game. He was now made 5 of 7 from the line, and it's a 14-point lead. The largest for Temple was 17.
Temple had 10 more shots from the field than the Mountaineers in the first half. That's because of the turnover differential. The boards were virtually even.
And that's kind of a victory for Temple. You say the boards were even, right?
You betcha. You betcha. That little press just did a lot to the Mountaineers. Took them off stride.
Kobe Brooks, quick shot. He wasn't really squared, and it's out of bounds. It'll be Temple ball.
One of the reasons I think the guard play has improved for West Virginia this year, Gail Catlett used to have a pretty complex system, offensively and defensively, multiple defenses, all that kind of stuff. Now he's really simplified it, playing straight man for man defensively, and his team has responded well to it.
There's a good sign for Temple after that miss by Macon. They got back in transition very well defensively, did not let the Mountaineers get a break going.
Well, they will err on the side of getting back more so than getting on that offensive board.
And Berger drills the long distance three. 7 points for Steve Berger, and it's an 11-point Temple lead.
He's the leader. He's the ball handler. Remember last year talking about him, they wished he was a little nastier. Jim Kroll was a point guard for the Mountaineers just a few years ago, and he's one of those feisty point guards. Berger's a real gentleman, but a great athlete.
Kilgore. Well, he missed the first shot. Chris Brooks up quickly is Prue. Gonna go right in. I'm not certain what that was supposed to do. Ray Foster was nowhere near the play, and it goes out of bounds.
Well, that's one of those where you talk about overpassing. It looks nice to see somebody give up a pass to a teammate when they're that close. But my goodness, when you're in that deep, all he had to do was take it up. He at least was going to the free throw line. And his partner was trying to get to the offensive board. He thought it was a shot.
Over to Coswell over the back of Ray Foster to pick up his second foul. First on the team.
Temple fouls on number 31, Dwayne Coswell. That is his second personal foul.
The Mountaineers in the first half, 9 assists, 11 turnovers. That's very unusual for the guard play they've been getting. 4 of those turnovers came from Foster at the center spot, however.
A few inside shots for the Mountaineers in the game, and it's followed in by Ray Foster. That's his first basket.
Coswell was taken off that board that time by an excellent checkoff. One of those wide bodies. I didn't catch which one, but he was moving backwards.
See now, Temple's had a couple of possessions without a hoop, and let's see if they try to go to Macon, and if Macon tries to make it happen. Well, it'll be Vreeswijk. Oh, that's dead meat for him. A set shot from 15.
He's become so much smarter at using the flow and the screens that Chaney has set up. He's really not very creative individually. He needs to utilize the system, and he's gotten very smart at it.
Ball goes into Brooks. Chris Brooks, a wild shot, but there's Prue. Oh my! Coswell spiked it.
Jammed it right down on the top of his head.
Here's Ernest Pollard on the boards, and he is tied up by Prue, and that's a jump ball.
Prue's hands are so good. Just perfect. I mean, that was like in your face. 2 rejects back to back.
Alternate possession, West Virginia ball down 11.
He could dislocate his shoulder getting rejected like that.
Coswell cupped that ball. It was the block.
Going to block it with his armpit. He so dominated that situation. It's West Virginia now taking much more time attacking that matchup.
And Coswell did it again. He just smothered that shot attempt by Chris Brooks, and finally on the scramble, it'll come back into West Virginia.
West Virginia has to do a little faking under there. Coswell timing everything and going up. Need a couple of ball fakes.
Oh, they say Brooks doesn't even know he's there, right?
Over the back. Coswell now getting very aggressive. You know, in Cheney's system, if you get 2 personal fouls in the first half, you sit down. And Coswell in good shape with personal fouls. Only one, playing very aggressively.
Kind of got away with a left hand on the back there as he blocked the second one. We have a timeout on the court. Temple by 11.
They're starting to find Brooks and Prue underneath, however, and amazing. They are only 2 for 9 are those fine forwards of the Mountaineers, and they've had 3 of their shots blocked. By who? One guess. Coswell, third in the nation.
Steve Berger alone missed it, and Randolph boxed out Ray Foster, came down with the rebound. So Temple with an 11-point lead. They led by 12 at the half.
Could have had 14, but Prue stripped Kilgore for a breakaway layup, which really could have caused a mind swing there in terms of momentum. Cheney was hot. Any turnover is a real sin in his estimation, but right before the half that way, no excuse. But I think Kilgore's played very well, especially when you consider he's a freshman.
Shot clock at 7, so Macon launches a rainbow for 3.
What a heartbreaker that is. Keeps you on defense that long and nails a 3. A long 3.
9 points for Macon. And Temple by 14. Off the hands of Prue. And a turnover to the Owls. They're 13th by West Virginia. Coswell in a reach-in foul on Chris Brooks.
It appears West Virginia's made a concerted effort to try to get something going down inside. Guards are much more deliberate for the Mountaineers, but it hasn't gone well in there. They've had trouble with the pass and catch, and when they've made the good move, Coswell's been there to discourage or reject.
I think you're going to get close to the time. We still have 14 minutes to play, but Gail Catlett's going to start getting concerned because every time West Virginia's put a little bit of a run together, Temple's swatted them right down. Brunswick missing another long rebound to Coswell in the right place. And there, Kilgore ties his career high, 19 points.
One of the few times Coswell punched the ball back out. Mik Kilgore all by himself.
This ties the biggest lead of the game for Temple.
A lot of time, Ted. Remember, West Virginia has the depth, has the quickness.
Ernie Brooks, that's a 2. The type of 2 coaches hate because he was standing right on the arc.
Yep.
And it silences the crowd for a moment. Macon bringing the ball up one of the few times he's done that. And he goes right back to the baseline where he spent most of this game offensively for Temple. And Berger has been chasing him most of the night. He's done a good job. Macon kind of forcing one there. And Coswell a little bit hot there. Started to go at Ray Foster. We got a foul, I think, on Coswell.
Macon needs to be careful when he makes that penetrating move from the top of the key with that double low box that the Owls are using. They're really vulnerable to the breakaway hoops. All 5 jerseys are down inside the broken circle for the Owls, and the Mountaineers do like to get it out of Joe. There needs to be a rotation back when he penetrates.
Coswell leading now with 3 fouls. Remember that left hand on the back that we saw when he blocked the shot? He got away with it. That's what they call him for there, a little left hand push off.
Well, he only had 1 foul starting the second half. No question, he came out very assertive.
Now West Virginia must make an impact now.
Let's see if they can create an inside game without the big fella.
Temple leading by 15. We'll mark that as the barometer when Coswell leaves the game. 12:50 remaining. Prue inside. Only the second hoop for Darryl Prue.
It's a big difference when Friesrich comes over to pick up from the weak side as opposed to Coswell.
Kilgore and Friesrich are the tallest Temple players right now, both at 6'7". They are both perimeter players. Fouls on Steve Berger, his first, 3rd team foul. Tuesday night, Texas, a 20-win season already, meets SMU at 9 Eastern on USA as Friesrich missed a long jump off the inbounds and Randolph is out of bounds with the rebound.
Mountaineers trying to make a run here, trying to get it turned around with Coswell on the bench.
Through inside again, this time a foul. I believe Randolph. If it is, that'll be his third.
Those are not good fouls either, Ted. John Chaney not happy with his team at all right now. You wouldn't believe that man had a 13-point lead. I mean, the ball's going in there at will. The entry pass is usually an adventure against his teams because he's always thin up front. Now the ball's going in there easily, and the Owls are paying for it.
And now 6 straight West Virginia points. And here's where the Mountaineers need to keep a little string going. They'll do this and then fall back a little bit. Kilgore with a... Oh! I don't know what that shot was, but it gives him a career-high 21 points. That was right out of the Philadelphia Public League, huh?
Darryl Prue in total disbelief on that. Played him about as tough as he could. They've obviously changed their strategy with him. Instead of watching him at the top of the key, they're going and chasing him.
Splits inside, got it. Let's see. Took the fouls before the shot, I believe, on Kilgore. Yes, it is.
The entry pass keeps coming from the corner and the baseline. Chaney can adjust that.
Foul on Kilgore, his first, 4th team foul. Timeout. Temple still leading though by 13. The ABA for several years. Mik Kilgore with a career high 21 points in this game.
But the fact remains, it's because of Macon's presence. There's called a tough on the run. Darryl Prue says, I was wearing this guy. How in the world did he make that shot? Getting very confident out there. Perimeter skills, putting the ball on the floor, and he's 6'7".
He's made 5 threes in the game. Temple has made 8 of 15 from 3-point range in the game. They stay without Coswell. Coswell is still not in there, and he's getting what is also to be considered, I'm sure, a much-needed rest while this is going on. He has not been out of the game until this stretch.
Because of that baseline entry pass, they've changed the defense. It's more of a 1-3-1 match now. Making that pass from right there a little bit tougher. Again, Kilgore's size at the top of the key does discourage that pass.
See, West Virginia's still not getting the ball inside, even without Coswell. Now Berger tried a tough pass, and that's off Chris Brooks. Says John Clougherty, and the ball will come back into Temple. Fourteen turnovers for West Virginia, just 6 for Temple. There's Frieswick for 3. And Randolph crashing against Ray Foster. Fouls, and that's 4 fouls now, or 3 fouls, excuse me. 3 on Sean Randolph. 5 on Temple.
There's an impasse right here. Neither team now can get that spurt. The Mountaineers, after going down inside with a lot of success, have been cooled a little bit. Right now, John Chaney's trying to generate some offense. Wide open.
That's a 2 again. The second one he's hit from right on the arc.
Well, there's the adjustment by West Virginia. They no longer can make that inside pass, and they got the baseline shot.
Herbie Brooks has 13 points. Chris Brooks has just 3. That's not what West Virginia expected. Here's Prue, and he creates a turnover after some loose ball fighting. Mountaineers still not able to do much in transition. Oh, right through the hands of Chris Brooks on the ass from Berger.
Oh, he did fire that one. I believe that one could have gone through a car wash and not gotten wet, man. He did nail that one. You can overpass at high speeds in there.
Randolph just straddling that midcourt line, and here's a foul on Foster.
Like a panther, making in the catch and move. Just too quick for the Mountaineers. Boy, he's got a great first step, Ted. Excuse me.
That's 4 fouls now on Ray Foster. 4 fouls, and he'll have to leave. Charlton Heston stars in the Awakening USA movie Wednesday at 9 Eastern.
Well, with Smith coming in now, that changes the look for the Mountaineers. Foster, who had 10 points and 8 boards against Temple in that first game, much stronger defensively, much better rebounder, Smith, of course, gives him more outside shooting, more of a perimeter player. So offensive rebounding should be a little easier now for Temple with that exchange.
And again, now we're past the midway point of the second half, but West Virginia hasn't made much of a dent. And time now is really becoming a factor as Randolph is hammered by Chris Brooks on the baseline drive. 3 on Chris Brooks.
Randolph, of course, was the high school teammate of Mark Macon from Saginaw, Michigan. He's got 10-foot shooting range, but watch this explosion. A compact power player, quick to the rim. I think he got up there a lot quicker than Chris Brooks thought he would.
There's the first foul shot for Temple by a man other than Coswell in the game. 9:19 to play.
That's amazing.
It's amazing that Mark Macon could play 30 minutes of basketball and not get to the foul line.
And he was penetrating. Grieswick was taking the ball to the basket as well. There are a lot of nights when West Virginia doesn't want to be on that free throw line.
18 points the lead. Shelton back in missing. And Pollard outfights West Virginia for the rebound. And for all the shooting and stuff like that, Bucky, I think Temple's winning this game up front. Their front line is fighting to at least, from their standpoint, at worst, a standoff with the heralded West Virginia front line.
They really have. Good matchup here. Herbie Brooks versus Mark Macon.
I have not seen the times we've seen Macon play. This is the first time I've seen him play this type of game. He's almost like a decoy.
I'll give some credit to West Virginia's defense. I think they'd like for him to have it more. The Mountaineers have played tough man for man all year, as we pointed out. Dale Catlett simplifying his multiple defenses. Dale was an assistant in a lot of good places. Richmond, Cincinnati, Kansas, even spent a year under Adolph Rupp. A lot of his thinking he's brought from those places.
Mik Kilgore with another 3. His 6th three-point basket of the game.
6 for 9 out there. That'll hurt any defense. It's surprising that he's getting them against what should be eyeball to eyeball, man for man. They're believers now. They were drifting from him early, but they've tried to play him tough.
And Herbie Brooks, 6 to 3, 16 now for Herbie Brooks.
32, Herbie Brooks.
West Virginia shooting a little over 50%, right on their season's average. They haven't been able to overcome the turnovers and the three-point shooting of the Owls. That's been the story so far. The Owls now trying to run a little time off the clock.
Macon's miss, pulled down by Crew. Here's Herbie Brooks trying to blow through the defense. Does, and he gets the roll and a foul.
I don't think Temple thought he was going to take it to the basket. There were enough white jerseys back there, but they were all sort of in a glide. They really didn't sprint back, get to the paint, turn around, and call out their men. That's another no-no for John Chaney. He really thrives on defensive balance. Now watch, see the white jerseys? They were back there. They just weren't ready to play. Kilgore in particular didn't square off and stop the ball. And with a guard like Brooks, Herbie just going to penetrate and get in that line, and something bad's going to happen to you.
Well, Herbie Brooks has scored 6 straight points, and quickly the lead is back to 10 with 6:58 to play.
Out of conference schedule, and there's another team over which Temple has a win, and that's LaSalle, which is first rate. Look at those 7 losses. Some heartbreakers, too.
Those 7 teams are the non-conference teams that have beaten Temple this year. That type of schedule doesn't do much for your coaching record, but it helps your budget a lot, right?
Well, I'm sure there was some
good
paydays, and if the Division I committee of the NCAA, and they intend to do this, take schedule difficulty into account, then Temple still has an excellent shot at the NCAA tournament. If they get this game and get to the finals of their tournament, I think they should get there.
A win over a ranked team in West Virginia. They don't have any wins over ranked teams this year as of this point.
West Virginia's best win probably over Pitt in Pittsburgh. And a win over UNC Charlotte in overtime. In fact, both of those were in overtime on the road. They started the season 1-2 with 2 losses at home. Robert Morris and Bradley, and since then, the Mountaineers have been on a tear.
Down to 6 on the shot clock. Randolph, and a block by Prue, and a foul on Prue.
Prue that time laying off to Kilgore a bit, trying to help inside. I think the Mountaineers need to go out and create some pressure. They've got that lead, that deficit down to 10. And I think they need to get out there and hurry them a little bit. Looks to me like Temple put them to sleep. That man doesn't sleep, not on the bench. Professor, a full professor is John Chaney. A heck of a high school player here in Philadelphia at Ben Franklin. He was the terror of the public league, and the guy that was tearing up the Catholic League at that time, one Tom Gola.
John Chaney's had a heck of a year. He's had to coach basketball and also be really a spokesman for the anti-Prop 42 believers within the college coaching ranks.
I don't think there's any question but that he has been distracted by all of that.
Herbie Brooks hits a 3, and now West Virginia has a little bit of life. They're down within 8. It's the first time in this half they've had it to single digits. Still 5:45 to play. Herbie Brooks now has 22 points. He's hit his last 5 shots.
Temple, a good free throw shooting team at 72%. And you can bet from here out the cat and mouse game begins. And Macon and Vrieswick are going to handle it a lot. From Hedgesville, West Virginia, Gail Catlett, former Mountaineer player. Played for Fred Schaus, the athletic director at West Virginia, who's retiring this year. How'd you like to follow in his footsteps? Football team plays for the national championship. Basketball team has the nation's longest winning streak and ranked 11th.
Kilgore on nice inbounds play, and Mik Kilgore now with 26 points.
Oh, the Mountaineers went to sleep. Every time it looks like West Virginia's going to make a run, something happens, and it's usually been a defensive breakdown.
Right now, Herbie Brooks is their hot man, but Chris Brooks takes it to the hole, got his own rebound, lost it, and Randolph has it. But a lost night for Chris Brooks with just 3 points.
Oh, he just took the ball to the basket. A lot of frustration in that move. And unbelievably, he made it right to the paint.
And now Mark Macon brings it across half court, and John Chaney wants a timeout. 5 minutes, 1 second to go. Temple by 10.
That was almost unmolested. Just wasn't even a tricky play. Just a simple, straightforward pass, and that momentum is stifled temporarily. It's back up to 10. The Owls with a 10-point lead. 5 minutes to go.
Look at what minimal impact the West Virginia forwards have had in this game, but that's shocking given the fact that Temple doesn't have a big team.
If the matchup by Temple is played properly, though, they do make it difficult to get the ball down inside. Where I expected those forwards to ring the bell was off the offensive board. But so far, they haven't been able to do it. Turnovers have been killing. And early in the game, when Temple got that great start, their press generated all those turnovers, and they absolutely went down and finished all of them. The first 4 turnovers yielded 8 points. The Mountaineers went in shock. And from that point on, they've been trying to inch their way back. There's still lots of time at 5 minutes.
Coswell back in. Kilgore. What a night! 29 points for the freshman Mik Kilgore and 7 threes.
I think Gail Catlett ought to introduce Darryl Prue to Mik Kilgore. He is killing him. He has not made him put the ball on the floor. He is still standing 6 feet off, like he's saying, I know this guy's going to start missing soon.
Prue finally gets rid of the ball. And a foul on Prue, who was simply frustrated.
Frustrated forwards for the Mountaineers tonight.
West Virginia's played much of this game frustrated, Bucky. They appear to be that way really since that early run by Temple.
Well, there's no question it took the wind out of their sails, but it wasn't like it was all that way from the beginning. Gail Catlett put the opening play on the blackboard. The Mountaineers executed, and they started the game 2-0 with a slam dunk.
West Virginia over the limit. And Coswell sinks the front end.
Boy, he's got a nice shooting touch.
He has only 1 year left. John Chaney and the Temple folks list Coswell as a sophomore, but that's because they don't acknowledge Prop 48. Coswell has just 1 year of eligibility left. But if he progresses as far as he did in this year, he'd be a great pro prospect.
With a little offensive spurt, the Temple defense now is much more active. That's a tough shot over Kilgore at 6'7". He's forcing Berger to really jack that ball up high. That was a little bit higher trajectory than he had used previously tonight. Check that one off to an altered shot.
And how about good usage of a timeout? From the timeout, Temple has now scored 5 in a row, and they have the ball back.
I'm sure John Chaney's concerned, though, about depth. He's lost some tough games this year at Notre Dame, at UNLV, overtime to Missouri. Teams tend to catch him at the end of the game because he's not very deep.
Shot clock to 5. It's Macon. And Prue runs the loose ball down. Long pass to Chris Brooks, and Kilgore is back to break it up.
What a game he's having. The public school player of the year from West Philly. He's not only scoring, he is ubiquitous. That means he gets his hands on everything.
That's a dookie word if I ever heard one, huh?
For an old North Carolina State guard, I got to throw that in every once in a while.
Ray Foster back on for West Virginia, and Prue is hammered by Coswell, and then comes down, and let's see, I think a foul. And it is on Kilgore.
The Mountaineers might want to think about a little half-court trap. So far, Temple's been able to take the shot clock down each time against the straight man-for-man. Gail Catlett has a 2-2-1 zone press that has been effective at times. Rutgers, Bob Wenzel's fine team over there at Rutgers gave Temple lots of problems with pressure the other night. They can be had.
And Prue gets the bounce. We have 3:04 to play. There are a lot of people who expect these two teams to meet again, Bucky, for the Atlantic 10 Tournament Championship, but a team like Rutgers that's had a good year may have something to say.
It's an amazing tournament in the Atlantic 10. We're going to start on Saturday with 10 teams. They have to play off the last 4 to get to 2 spots to fit into an 8-team bracket. And then they play 2 nights in the Palestra to get to the 2 teams. And then the finals will be played on the home court of the highest seed. That's very unique, but it does reward regular season success.
Timeout, West Virginia with 3:04 to play. And Temple.
Pressure now by the Mountaineers.
And they're in desperation time now, 3 minutes down 13.
Look at Brunswick putting the ball on the floor, making up the floor instead of being back there handling it. He's up court.
The crowd helping Vreeswijk find the open man.
Well, he didn't succumb to the double teaming pressure. Full court. They're going back man for man. Darryl Prue with excellent hands. 49 steals on the season, and he's picked up a couple tonight. Well, Vreeswijk's ball handling really has improved. Look at this crucial point now. Macon, the best ball handler on the floor, is buried down in the stack.
Unbelievable.
Took it to 5 seconds and buried it.
Mik Kilgore is in a zone. 31 points. His career best coming into this game was 19.
Under no circumstances does Chaney want him to have a wake-up call. Leave him dream.
And it's incredible to think that Temple could win a game against a team playing as well as West Virginia with Mark Macon as merely a supporting player. Mark Macon has 9 points tonight. He hasn't taken very many shots. Offensive board by Ray Foster and a foul with 2 minutes exactly remaining.
Last year, Macon was the guy with the veteran team that was able to run and roam and just play. This year, Chaney said, we're going to make him a better player. People have looked at his stats for the year, Mark Macon, and said, well, sophomore jinx. He hasn't had a great year. Well, he was the best freshman in the country last year, but he was with a veteran team. Howie Evans at the point. And the inside Perry and the big fella. Who was the double wide in there? Ramon Rivas. Yes, and they were just solid veteran team. This year he's had to be the experienced player, and he has shown no ill will tonight. He has enjoyed the performance by Mik Kilgore.
And of course, what you got to remember about a Mark Macon is in most games this year he's been gimmicked, tricked, doubled in some games every time he touches the ball. I mean, he's faced it all this year. Sean Randolph's fourth foul for Temple. Tracy Shelton back in for West Virginia with 1 minute and 49 seconds remaining. So Chris Brooks continues his adventures at the foul line.
40% coming in.
You know, Bucky, you talked about the foul shooting. The one thing Gail Catlett says the positive for his team about that is that his 2 guards are good foul shooters. It's the forwards that are the bad ones. In end of game situations, you would expect his guards to be the guys getting fouled.
Well, except when they're coming from behind here today, and but there are only 2 guys for West Virginia who've shot more than 100 free throws, and they're both forwards who are the poorer shooters.
Now, Macon shows you what he can do if he wants to.
I think that was the last nail.
Yep, and 1 minute and 20. Temple with the biggest lead again, 3rd time with a 17-point edge.
Boswell blocked that, Ted. I'm not sure if it was a pass or a shot. But again, those long arms. John Chaney, frustrating year. Got well in McGonigal.
Yeah, but he's looking a little bit better for the NCAA. Temple closes out at St. Bonaventure this week as Berger nails the 3. And West Virginia will wind up at Penn State. Those will be their last regular season games. And West Virginia will be 1. Temple will be 2 going into their postseason tournament for the Atlantic 10.
Going into the uniqueness of that.
Michael Harden has not taken the warm-up off tonight as Temple has gone with just 6 players. And you're talking about breaking form. It'll be only the 2nd time this year that one of the non-Big 2, Macon Vreeswijk, leads the team in scoring.
Well, Harden may get more minutes on the Pines after Mik Kilgore's performance tonight.
Kilgore fouled here with 1 minute and 7 to play.
Well, I'm sure the rest of the coaches in the Atlantic 10 are looking now and saying, not such a good idea now to gear your defense entirely to Vreeswijk and Macon. There's a new force, Mik Kilgore, 6'7" freshman, career high 31. And most of them were outdoors.
And you want to know
not outside.
You know what Mark Macon's career high is? 30. So that's how good a night Kilgore's had.
Well, if he keeps playing like that offensively, look for some big nights from Macon because he's going to take the pressure off of him.
And his first foul shot of the night, and Kilgore misses it. He's at 31 points without a foul shot. 1 minute and 2 to play, but barring a miracle, we're playing it out right now.
They got to jack up that 3 quick.
Berger trying, and you see Kilgore's 6'7". Berger could hardly get the ball over. And this ball's going to come back into West Virginia at 51 seconds.
Catlett still working. Coswell, I believe, got a piece of that one.
Herbie Brooks. And Randolph is fouled by Shelton. Tracy Shelton on the foul. Well, Temple with this win will go to 16-10 if they can win at St. Bonaventure and, let's say, 2 conference games. They would have 19, and that should get them to the big show.
The knock on them is, again, not having any prestige wins, but they've had such an outstanding year in that road record, even though this is not a strong year in the Atlantic 10. I'm sure no one breathes easy. There have been always a few surprises when that computer begins to do its calculations in Kansas City.
And a foul again will put Vreeswijk at the line with 34 seconds remaining. The outcome is sufficiently secured so that the most famous Temple alum of them all has left his seat. Bill Cosby is headed for other climbs.
He was so well covered, Ted. He was up there with a Temple sweatshirt and a hat pulled down over his eyes. If he hadn't been pointed out, I'm sure a lot of folks would have missed him. But he's very loyal. He's a fine athlete here.
Vreeswijk to shoot. I want to find out whose idea it was. You know, the warm-up for this game, during the warm-ups, I heard something I've never heard before. I don't know if it's John Chaney's idea or not, but they play rap music during the hour shoot-around before the game, and that was not nearly as surprising to me as the fact that Bucky Waters named every group as the songs came on.
You're not going to talk about my moves, though, right?
25 seconds, and Temple now to run it out on a good win for the Owls. Mark Macon with 13, but this is a night for a freshman. Mark Macon had many of them last year. This is a night for Temple freshman Mik Kilgore. Herbie Brooks with 24, and West Virginia. Yeah, West Virginia called a timeout, and Gail Catlett just waved it off. Said, "Now forget it, go ahead and play." And it's Kilgore to hold the ball and get one last chance to add to his total with 3 seconds remaining.
Tom Chaney now sans coat.
West Virginia fouls on number 3, Tracy Shelton.
I should say, it was our last chance to work the end of this year. It's been fun. It taught me a few things.
We're talking about broadcasting?
Yeah, a few new phrases.
Yeah, it has been fun. We've had a good year with USA. We got one more. Sorry you're not going to be with us, but we're going out there in the desert in New Mexico. The Running Rebels had just got by this Temple team in a heck of a game last week, trying to come out of their own league, and everybody is trying to hone down for the tournament. A little double clutch as something hit the floor.
And Kilgore made the shots anyway. 33 for the freshman.
I'm surprised he was even aware of anything else in the gym. What a night he had.
There it is. So the nation's longest Division I winning streak is over at 22 as Temple defeats Gail Catlett's West Virginia Mountaineers 74-56. West Virginia's first conference loss of the year. And although the Mountaineers have clinched the regular season championship, Temple now has clinched second place in the Atlantic 10. Mik Kilgore with 33 points, a career high, and we'll be back to Philadelphia in a moment. Outstanding performance, who was the key player tonight, and a rare night, a night in which Mark Macon was almost a supporting player. And right now, John Chaney, the winning coach, is standing by with Bucky Waters.
Thank you, Ted. Mik Kilgore, what a night for a freshman.
Well, we've been working with him, Coach Demopoulos and Coach Norman and Coach Maloney have been working with him, trying to convince him to shoot the basketball. I'm the guy that screams at him, and they're always the guys that stroke him. And when a team plays a triangle in 2, as they did from the beginning of the season, Arizona and everybody else, we've been trying to force the ball in the mark, and he's been trying to break his defense down. It hasn't worked. You've got to force that point guard to shoot the basketball, and Mik did a hell of a job for us.
What about that press early? I thought extending your defense caught the Mountaineers unawares.
I think that helped because it got us out with the fact that we've lost last time against them, and we lost our last ball game against Rutgers, and I think that it gave us a lot of courage to move our feet around and get our hearts into the game, and that meant quite a lot rather than standing around and laying and praying.
Well, I obviously you've been frustrated. All those close losses, good teams on the road. Do you really think it's going to help you coming down the stretch? It hasn't hurt your confidence.
Well, you know, with freshmen and a young team, you get a valley here and there, and you get a high point here and there. So what we've got to do now is look forward to going and playing St. Bonnie up at their place, which is going to be tough. And then look forward to playing and winning some games in the tournament. And hopefully the committee will think favorably of us. But West Virginia is a very fine basketball team and should be ranked very high.
Well, I think the rest of the league now knows they can be had because you really were strong and you went right at them early.
Thank you, Bucky.
All right, well, Mik Kilgore obviously having the career game, but he's only a freshman. You got at least 3.5 more years to play with that guy. A 6'7" guard, got to make you smile.
Well, we're worried about him growing some more because I've never had a point guard at 6'8". He's really 6'8". He grew 2 inches since he came here, and he started out as a guard in high school, so Joey Goldenberg made him a great player, and I think he's going to be a great player for us.
True confessions, he's not 6'7", he's 6'8", Ted Robinson.
All right, Bucky, I'll tell you, he may have grown 2 inches since he came to Temple. He's grown an awful lot in stature as a basketball player tonight. Mik Kilgore with a tremendous game and a key night for Temple with 33 points, and right now he's standing by with Bucky.
Mik Kilgore, Big, big night for a rookie. You can go ahead and smile now. Did you not get a wake-up call all night long?
Yes, I had to. During practices yesterday and today, I was pretty much counted on. It was my job to shoot the ball if I was going to be wide open. If they were going to come out in the triangle in 2, I should not even pass the ball. Coach told me, don't even pass the ball. Come down and shoot the ball.
All right, at 6'7", at the top of that key, when they didn't come get you early, you had the opportunity to pass the ball down and low, and it's like shooting fish in a barrel for you.
Yes, well, they were trying. Their idea was to double on Dwayne Carswell with my man. That's what they were doing with my man, and that just left me, wide, a free shot, wide open.
You think they're going to do that again?
No, they might come. They might. But they'll have to cheat on me a little bit more.
That press early, you enjoyed getting out on that press. It isn't often you get out and attack with your defense.
Yes, I didn't think coach was going to press them because they like to run, but we tried it anyway, and it worked for a little while. But then we had to quickly come out of it because they were a great team. They're quick, they run and jump. They're a great team.
All right, Mik Kilgore, congratulations on your biggest night so far of what looks like an outstanding career. Ted?
All right, Bucky, thank you. It's a good night for Temple all around. They think this is the type of win they definitely needed to help their NCAA chances as they beat West Virginia by 18.